Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with Chip and Day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Who does Penn State play this week?
That would be the Hoosiers.
What color do they wear?
Darker red than what I'm wearing.
Oh, it's not
Darker red than what I'm wearing.
You were embarrassing the show.
Darker red than what I'm wearing.
I mean, show up, you wear this discount junk. Yeah, you don't even sell that outside the stadium. Hey, cats. Win a couple of games with a backup quarterback. You got, yeah. McCaffrey still playing? Or?
He is.
Kind of gets banged up a little bit. All right. So, did anybody watch last night's Monday night game? I mean,
I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole game. I didn't see it coming, I can tell you that. I didn't think the Cardinals with the backup quarterback would win.
No, I didn't either. But, no offense, I just thought going into the game it was just going to be a bad game. Now, of course, Penn State was playing basketball, so I mean, it's interesting because when I got home last night, I didn't really want to watch it, so I didn't. I was like, okay, fine. Basketball last night,
right.
Early games, because look, nobody knows really outside of Purdue or maybe somebody else what everybody has.
Right.
I mean, Indiana, I think Indiana plays tonight. Indiana's an entirely new team. I don't know. Iowa, I think they play tonight. Iowa has an entirely new team. Now they have guys with reputations, so you're trying to draw conclusions off their reputations, but like nobody knows who anybody has early on. Nothing's been established yet. So you go out and you play. So Fairfield jumps out to a 15-2 lead last night. You know, Mike brings the other guys off the bench, and the whole game changes. They finally get to halftime of 37. They really had two chances to put Fairfield away last night, did not do it. Then finally the last one they did. They had really a chance to get some separation in the first half. The free throw line killed them. They then had a chance to pull away midway through the second half. Same story. Free throw line hurt them. And among other things, I mean, I felt like there was that one possession where Fairfield got 3 offensive rebounds. You're like, geez. I mean, that possession took more than a minute. I think it was like a minute and 10 seconds. And they ended up getting 3 free throws out of it from Deuce Turner. But Penn State kept plugging away at it. And there's certain things that you can take from it. Because I can take from it because I've watched practice. Like Meli Tunja, for example. I knew what he could do. Because to be honest with you, I'm one of the few people that actually seen him play. I mean, there isn't a fan, and I don't think there's any fan that was sitting in the stands. Maybe a couple that were invited to practice a couple of days. You know, they were like, hey, this guy can do, wow. Like, he did what I see him do all the time. He didn't play any of the exhibition games, so nobody saw him play. I mean, Fairfield didn't know what he was capable of doing. He had 19 points. He had 6 assists last night, 4 rebounds. I mean, he played great. The one area he's mad about is believe it or not, in Turkey, he was a 96% free throw shooter. He was 4 of 6 last night. He was not happy, but he also cranked out 31 minutes last night. And he had been forced to sit out during the course of the preseason with an injury. And so he had, he's been back in there the last couple of weeks, but I think the legs were a little, 31 minutes. He hadn't done that. Mingo is really good. You know what? You want to know what you can see with Mingo? Right? I think when fans see a lightning fast point guard, they are blown away by him. They don't understand. Most fans don't have a feel for a point guard who does things at his own pace. And that's what Mingo does. He takes the game and he has the game at his own pace. Right? You want to know who one of the best ever was at playing the game at his own pace? Magic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Now, people go, well, no, Magic, Showtime, throwing the ball over the court.
Yeah, no,
okay.
he understood.
Okay, besides looking at the highlight tape, actually watch a game.
Yeah.
Right? If you watch a game, Magic's controlling the tone.
Completely.
And tempo. When it was time to run, they ran. But most of the time when they were in the half court, he was orchestrating and going at his own pace.
Yeah, best passer I've ever seen, too.
Oh, he's the best.
Not even.
He's the best point
Not
guard.
close.
He's the best point guard I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Same. Yep.
Best point guard I've ever seen.
Yep.
All right. Well, Mingo, right? Now he's not 6'9", but you can just see he orchestrates at his pace. The game goes at the pace he wants it to go. Urich played about the way I thought Ivan could play. He can get inside, make some plays. He stepped out, shot the three, not unusual. I've seen him do that. Tibor Mirotic played exactly the way I thought he could play. He had 11 rebounds last night, physical, doesn't put up with any garbage. All right, it's got to work on that shot, though. As I pointed out when he went to the free throw line the first time last night, right? You try to give people like at least hints like that one of the issues he has, and I said it right away. I said, Dick, check out how he shoots free throws. He has a very flat shot. Well, last night he had a very flat shot. They've been working more with him, trying to get a little more arc. Right? But there's no margin for error when you have a flat shot. So he's been doing more work on it, but in the game last night, he was 0-4 at the line. See, they could have helped themselves so much at the line last night. I mean, they got into the bonus very early in the first half, and they missed two front ends of 1-and-1s. They missed a two-shot foul. You're like, oh, geez. I mean, they left points out there. And then Dom Stewart really didn't get off to a good start. He had 2 turnovers, just didn't play well. And Mike put him on the bench. Well, then late in the game, I don't know, 6-7 minutes to go, he puts him back in the game. He hits all 3 shots, including a three-pointer. He has a block. He has 2 steals. And you're sitting there, you started the game. You did not close the first half. You didn't start the second half. There's 10 minutes to go in the game. You're still not in. What are you thinking as a player? I'm not going back in.
You're not going back in, yeah.
He put him back in, and he went out there and he played. Eli Rice was great to see him, after he only played, 5 minutes last year. Get out there, shooting it, hit a couple of threes last night at 10, had 5 rebounds. Did a lot of really good things last night. Freddie, it wasn't Freddie's best game, but he's the one that made the pass to Tunja when he hit the 3 to tie the game at 68. So what did we learn last night? We learned last night that there's some depth on the team, that Mike has options, lineup options, because he had to change the lineup last night to do some things. They responded with their backs to the wall at home. Fairfield essentially is a 2-man team. The Benjamin kid inside, Jason, he may be a freshman, but if he starts stringing together games like he had last night, right? With all due respect to Fairfield, he is not going to be at Fairfield next year. I'm talking power, quickness, good player. Then the other kid, Sparks, they hit 7 threes last night. He hit 6 of them. I think he was like 6 of 15 in threes. He had a career high 25. The rest of the team was 1 of 20. Fairfield took 70 shots last night. A lot of shots. Mike then strategically did something really smart. He throws out the zone in the second half. And right away you can tell 2 things. Fairfield doesn't know how to handle the zone. Their guards didn't know how to handle it, and the zone did a good job of neutralizing who?
Yeah.
Benjamin, the big man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? People don't think about zones neutralizing big guys, but it did. But then, after a few possessions, Mike backed off it. Okay? And then late, because he didn't want to keep doing it and let them start getting comfortable doing something against it. That's why he did it. So he backed off it. Then when it came time, put the zone back out there again. Right when they were needed to, and again, Fairfield had no idea how to attack it. But he was very judicious with his use of the zone last night. And he picked his spots because he didn't want Fairfield to get comfortable against it and then start figuring it out. Now, the full court pressure, Penn State did not do a good job. They gave up easy baskets off the full court pressure last night. They're going to have to be way better than that. But, look, they won the game. They won the game. They outscored them 16-2 in the final, 328. I believe they scored on every possession in the final 328. So it's a start. It's a start. Now, do you go overboard? Oh, this was awesome, incredible. No, it's a start. Okay, this is a long road. Okay, you got 31 games minimum to play. Next year we'll be talking about this. We'll be talking about how they have 33 games minimum to still play. Because they're going to add a game in next year. It's going to go to 32 regular season games. Excuse me. So you'd have 32 left after the opening night. So it's a marathon. But now they have more video to look at. And then they go to New Haven. They'll play Saturday at 1. And then come back here. And I think a very good test next Tuesday on Veterans Day. They'll take on Navy. Navy has all 5 starters back from last year's team that went to the Patriot League Championship game with Ed DeChellis. Ed then retired, and John Perry, JP, who was here for years with Ed, is now the head coach. He got his first win last night over Presbyterian. They've got a good game coming up on Friday night. They have Yale. It's a good game. I think it's part of the Veterans Classic. I think it's a doubleheader. But they've got Yale. And Yale's always, especially in recent years, very, very good. So that's what they have coming up. But I think Navy will be a very interesting test for this team because it is a veteran team. And, yeah, it's the opener. And it's one in the books. I just think that you try not to get too overboard on pros and cons because it's an opener.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you go to the next one. You'll sit there and go, as you can tell, I'm not a person that overreacts a lot.
Right.
Because this entire industry is about overreacting.
Uh-huh.
Hey, let's do hot takes. What are hot takes? Hot takes are just like guesses and speculation. They mean absolutely nothing. There's no information behind it.
Nope.
This is how we do sports now. Give me a break. Just tell everybody what you see and why you see it, or why you don't see it. Yeah, you hope when the show's over, people have more information. They've learned more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right? And that doesn't happen. You go, this was awesome, incredible. Just okay, it's all right. I talked about Ohio State, Penn State. We talked about some of the things Penn State did well where they got hurt, but I also talked about Ohio State in the college football playoff where they could potentially run into trouble. All right. The first reveal is tonight. So let's start with this. It'll be the exact same thing I said last year. There'll be massive overreactions,
of course,
tomorrow morning.
Sure.
About it. It is the first weekly snapshot. That's all it is. It's not the final poll. It's not the final anything. We find out tonight who they think the top 12 teams happen to be. Okay. Snapshot 1. Play games this weekend, you then get Snapshot 2. It's like, I'm sorry, right? But I'm not going to sit there and go, can you believe they ranked them 4th? No, I think management would like me to do that. It would make for like a really wild show, but I can't do stupid things. I'm just not big into stupid. All right? I'm just not big into stupid. Right? You can't turn radio and podcasting into a clown show. You can't. Right? It doesn't serve any of you out there. It doesn't serve you out there. Right? It doesn't give you any, like, okay, what do you think of this group of 5 team, where they are? What do you think about, who's got a shot to move up based on schedule? Okay, we can talk about things like that, but this is just a snapshot. It's 1 week. I mean, that's it. The opening round of the 12-team playoff will be Friday, December 19th, as we know. Mm-hmm. They've decided that the game will kick off at 8 o'clock on ABC and ESPN. And then noon will be the start of the triple header on Saturday. TNT will still have some of the games. And that's, in fact, what gets me is, what really surprised me about what ESPN did, how surprised were you they sold off one of the semifinal games?
Yeah, I agree.
I thought, what the heck
does
that mean? I mean,
because you don't have, I'm trying to think, semifinals are going to be, do they have a playoff game at that point, NFL playoff?
Thursday,
I didn't think
Friday.
so. Yeah, they're Thursday, Friday. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've lived it.
Yeah.
So
they played Thursday last year, and Texas, Ohio State Friday. Yeah.
Friday. They're Thursday, Friday because they're trying to avoid the NFL weekend. I'm baffled by that.
Yeah, so am I.
Somebody would have to explain to me why. Rich Clark, CFP Executive Director, says, we appreciate the collaboration with the NFL in coordinating schedules to best serve fans for both college and pro football. I don't quite see what the collaboration is. Aren't they playing on Saturday?
Yeah, I was going to say they're playing Saturday anyway. I think the game times aren't set, but I would be willing to bet the Eagles will be the primetime game.
Well, yeah, probably because they probably would be. The opening round delivered 10.6 million viewers on average. The quarterfinals scored big, with the Cotton Bowl getting 20.6 million. The Orange Bowl that Penn State was in, most watched Orange Bowl in 20 years, 17.8 million, Penn State, Notre Dame. And then the championship game, Notre Dame, Ohio State, at 22.1 million, the most watched non-NFL sporting event over the past year. And it peaked at 26 million. I think it was the opening kickoff. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, obviously Penn State, Notre Dame, you had the brands too. You had, I think, especially when you look at in Pennsylvania, you were a fan of one or the other growing up, without question, especially when you were in eastern Pennsylvania towards the Scranton areas. Absolutely. So that, there was no doubt that was going to be a huge matchup, going to be monster ratings, two of the biggest brand names, the biggest brand name. I think you can deny that. And then, obviously, Penn State is huge as they are.
Then it says it was announced in April, ESPN will present each of the 4 playoff quarterfinals. Okay, that's an interesting word, present.
Yeah, which means they,
it was.
So they'll get credit.
For example, Penn State, when they played SMU last year, the game was on TNT. But that was ESPN's crew. And it was Mark Jones, Roddy Jones, and their crew that they work every game. So that's they presented it.
Yeah.
Presented. Really? They presented it.
Yeah. I could almost guarantee, obviously we'll see how the playoffs play out. If Notre Dame can get into a home game, there is, without question, one of those 2 primetime matchups will be Notre Dame, because that's your one chance, as is the case last year. That was your chance to get a game at Notre Dame Stadium on ESPN or ABC, which you're not able to do during the regular season.
Right. So, and
if that's It's an away game, I think. Probably a good chance anyway, but a home game, there's no question.
Right. Yesterday, Kurt Signetti said wide receiver Elijah Surratt is day-to-day hamstring. I know job-wise you're day-to-day.
That's right.
Who do you have this week? Nobody. You're off this week, right?
The Niners?
No, I'm talking about
State High. No, State High's got McDowell and Erie Friday night. Yeah.
And then you got to come back for a new
Yeah.
game. There you go. And they think Aiden Fisher has a shot, but Drew Evans is out, the offensive guard.
Yeah.
Who's a very good player, by the way. Fisher, he said they're very optimistic he'll return soon. Well, what does soon mean? Their linebackers, by the way, are really active.
Yeah.
Very,
Sure are.
very, very active players. No getting around it. So, right now, 25% of the head coaching jobs in the SEC are open. Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, LSU. They have 16 schools.
That's
of them
right.
need coaches.
4 of them need coaches.
25%. It is, of course, with everything focusing on Penn State, not so sure that everybody's realized that what a high percentage there is in the in the SEC.
There's going to be some big obviously there are going to be some big names out there that are going to be brought up at every job, Penn State included. Sure. They already have it. Oh, yeah. And no doubt about it.
Right. Yeah. Look. When you do go early in the cycle, which is what Pat Kraft did,
yeah,
it gives you time to vet candidates. It also gives you time to find out who is truly interested and who is wasting your time.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that that's the part of it. You get a pool that you want to look at. I want to vet the pool. I want to find out in the pool who's truly interested. I want to find out in the pool who's not. And I want to find out in the pool who's just wasting my time. When you do it early like Pat's done it, it gives you an opportunity to fulfill all three parts of that. And that's very important.
You have absolutely. You have the ability, I think, especially with the early on, where you could almost, you're not in a stage where you're scrambling in any way. I think that's where you basically look. You could, anybody that's available, you can dial the phone up and call them. I think in that spot, it happens in January or February. Suddenly, you're crunched a little bit. You don't have the ability to do that. I think that's the other huge advantage in the early cycle. You can shoot for the stars no matter what. This is a big job no matter what. So
right.
That you're going to get a candidate that is going to be a heck of a candidate. But I think to me early on the advantage you could basically shoot for the stars no matter what and get that, and like you say, get that feel to whether or not, hey, you really interested in coming here,
right?
Or you're not. And that's I think the huge advantage you have. Where it happens in October and not February. It happens in the January, February. That signing period's passed. Yeah. Suddenly,
right.
You're scrambling a little bit.
It's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, I opened up by talking about basketball,
and
now everybody, like Deuce Turner was at Cal, Santa Barbara, or whatever. You get transfers all over the place. I mentioned Indiana's roster is all new.
Yeah.
Iowa's roster is all new. Minnesota's roster is mostly all new. Okay. Well, college football, you get the same way in some ways. And to be honest with you, Raiders are trading Jacoby Myers to Jacksonville. I'm glad that was put out by Adam Schefter. I feel like the balance of power has now changed in the NFL.
Logan Wilson going to the Cowboys, especially after Dallas played the way Dallas played last night. That's
unreal.
Yeah.
But the transfer portal's changed everything. And I also feel that that's why when I talk about developmental programs, like use the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Be as liberal as you want with it. But if you can get your own players and keep them in the system and so forth, you also develop that word that was thrown around forever and ever and ever, culture.
Mm-hmm.
How the heck do you have a culture when you're bringing all players in left and right?
Left and right that have not meshed together, have not had leadership under them. Yeah,
like it's like let's all get to know each other in the locker room.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Now I will say that with the transfer portal being one now, instead of having late ads,
mm-hmm.
where it goes from the 2nd to the 16th of January.
Yep.
I think it does allow you to settle your roster earlier.
Yep.
And then go from there, and then maybe you can develop a locker room culture. But this is going to be an all new, whomever it is.
Yeah. And
it's going to be an all new adventure.
Well, that's the other part. You're going to have, and I'm not just talking about Penn State. This is going to be the case at LSU. It's going to be the case at Florida. Other jobs to a lesser extent. But you're going to have names
mm-hmm.
that are mentioned that have not coached in a few years. Yeah, I don't think I even need to say them. I think people know who I'm talking about. There are a handful of them. And that's going to be the question mark because they've not really been around in the NIL era. They've not really been around in that portal era where it's basically a level playing field.
Wow.
Where how are you going to manage NIL? How are you going to manage the portal? But you've never done it before. I think that's going to be a huge question that coaches have to answer.
Coaches that have been able to get out of it,
mm-hmm. or probably don't want to go back in
because they didn't want to deal
exactly.
with it.
Yeah. And that's a big reason why. And that's, again, you interview one of those guys, that's where you get that possibility to get the feel to whether or not, okay, do you really want to do this or not? And I think the answer more often than not in that case is no.
Right. I mean, it's...
Yeah. Because it's a headache. You either like...
That's where the general manager comes in.
Mm-hmm.
The
Absolutely.
general manager is the one that deals with the money part
mm-hmm.
of it.
Sure.
Now, it doesn't mean
that
the head coach...
I was going to say, how the head coach puts the input to how you use that money.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that is, that's an issue.
Yeah, there's no question. And
look, you have a lot of longtime coaches. Several don't want to deal with it.
No.
So they got out.
No, they got out of it. Absolutely.
Right? And people, they're going to be able to bring them back. We'll be able to lure them. Like, there's reasons why they got out.
Why. There's
it has
absolutely
nothing to do with the school.
Nope.
Right? It has to do with
even on.
I don't want to do this.
No.
I don't want to deal with the transfer portal.
No.
I don't want to deal with.
Even when a coach is out of the game for a while, and we're not even talking portal NIL. Let's use the example of the NFL.
Yeah.
Washington brings Joe Gibbs back.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't work out.
No.
Raiders bring Art Shell back.
Yeah.
That didn't work out. Raiders bring John Gruden back. Same thing. Right. When you get away from the game for a couple of years, it's not necessarily that the game changes, but things around it are a lot different.
Right.
Where that you have to adapt to, and it's very difficult to adapt to once again. And that I think is the other part of it as a coach.
Yeah, and it's a big issue. I mean, there's no getting around. It's a big issue. Because everything has changed so much. The landscape's completely different. I think you're seeing, and certain things are happening that I thought would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about the fans for a moment. Okay, certain things are happening I thought would happen. I felt that when the New Jersey case went through, and then starting in 2018, right around there, sports books started showing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's your money. There's nothing wrong with you gambling the money.
Right.
I mean, it's your money. You obviously, based on that outfit, lost.
Took a big L.
Something tells me that's a knockoff. But there's a segment that can handle it no matter what. They may not be happy about whatever, but they can handle the ups and downs of, like putting a few dollars here and there, whatever.
Right.
There's a segment out there that gets extremely mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like your team wins the game, but they didn't cover, and you thought they were going to cover. Or you get extremely mad because they lost and didn't matter whether they covered or not. Right. And so there's more vitriol because of it, because you've lost money. It's more personal. I'm seeing this all over the place. Here's the next part. I also thought that that anger would also come into play more so than any other time in the past because the players are getting paid. Okay?
Yeah, that's absolutely a great point.
See, and I feel that across the country, I can't believe all these coaches being let go. I'm telling you, the vitriol out there of it's not the wide range of we go into Beaver Stadium. Look, 85 to 90% of the fans are great fans. That
absolutely.
When it doesn't go well, they're upset because they want their team to win.
Yeah,
that's different.
Yes,
as opposed to, right? Like, okay, they're paying these guys. I can't believe it. And they want poorly coached. Coach makes X amount of money. Poorly coached. Right. Okay. Next one. They almost don't want to tell you how much money they lost in the game.
Right.
But I think those two factors right there, okay, three factors. Knowing how much the head coach gets paid.
Mm-hmm.
There for years, nobody knew what Joe got paid.
Right.
I mean, nobody knew.
And they were shocked when they found out.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the Patriot News,
yeah.
The reason why the Patriot News did what they did with Joe was they used the name because they wanted this. They didn't really care too much about what Joe's salary was. They just thought it was interesting. Right. But they were trying to get the salaries in Old Main.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they were trying to do. That was the game plan. It worked.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, they found out how much Penn State paid. Now, it didn't mean Joe didn't have some outside income, Nike income, things like that. Yeah. He did.
Right.
Right? But they saw what his salary was at Penn State. Well, now people know how much James Franklin made. They put the contract out there. Everything. They knew how much Bill O'Brien made. Contract was out there. Right? You know what Mike Rhodes makes. The contract is out there. So you already have people saying, what am I getting for my, in this case, $8.5 million? Oh, why'd they use the time out there? You're making $8.5 million. Hey, why'd that guy drop the pass? You're making $8.5 million. Okay, because people know that.
Absolutely.
Part, right now, they don't know how much the players are being paid,
but they know they're being paid.
But they know they're being paid, and they also know they're not getting $1.95.
Exactly. In the cases of a superstar, they know they're being paid well.
Yeah. Okay. And if they're not performing to your level, like, what are we paying for here? Then there's the gambling aspect.
Yeah.
Right? And as I've told you, and I said, look, I'm only asking out of curiosity. I says, nothing, this is no judgment here.
Right.
But I would ask the classes that I taught, how many of you gamble on games? Now, usually we get 2/3 of the class putting their hands up. And so, and the point of me asking was not about to pontificate about the pros and cons of gambling. No. My point was to tell them, hey, if you're going to gamble, don't gamble on a game that you're covering. I said, because it then changes your perspective, pro and con, about what's going on out there. And I said, your job is to give the fan your best honest assessment of what you're seeing out there.
Yeah, and don't let emotions of your own get involved, which would happen.
Right.
If you're
so in other words,
there's no question.
Okay, so you got to check your emotions in. I said, you want to gamble on something else? I said, that's your business. That's fine. You're doing a Penn State game. You want to put money down on Notre Dame USC. Go ahead. I mean, it's your money. I don't care. But if you're the one doing the play-by-play of Notre Dame USC,
agreed.
If you're the one covering Notre Dame USC, I strongly recommend you have a professional line that you don't cross on that. And that was the entire purpose of the exercise of talking to him about it. But the information part that I got was 2/3 of the students in my classes were gambling on games. And not only that, they weren't putting down $100. There were some putting down a few $1,000s. And that's only because they volunteered it. I didn't ask.
Right.
Okay? And I just feel that changes your perspective as to what's going on here. And I think that's crossing that professional line is unfair to the viewer,
Absolutely.
the listener,
Absolutely.
reader, whatever. Because I can't trust your opinion, because if you bet on the game, like,
Yeah, you're gonna have,
where's your mind
Yeah,
here?
exactly. What's your mindset going to be? There's going to be emotion.
I mean,
Clear as day.
Look,
Yeah.
I'll give you a great example. Indiana has two really terrific wins this year. They won at Oregon and they won at Iowa.
Yep. Tough place to play.
Right? A hard-fought game. It's 20-13. They're 6.5-point favorites. And they take a safety at the end. Now, Kurt Signetti apologized for doing it. Why do you apologize?
Yeah, why?
Okay? Your job is to win the game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Your job is to win the game. Does it matter at all? Penn State plays at Minnesota. I don't know. I couldn't tell you in a million years what the spread was. Penn State had to be the favorite. Penn State plays at Minnesota, needs a fake punt at the end. Luke Reynolds goes 32 yards. They keep the ball, close the game out with the pass from Drew Aller to Tyler Warren. Win the game. Well, Penn State didn't cover. But I'm going back to the airport with the team. Now, I got dropped off. The Marriott is across the street from the airport. So I just went with the team all the way back. Right. And then I got off the bus. I arranged this with the bus driver. And I walked back across the bridge over to the hotel because I had to go to Daytona the next day to do basketball on Monday, Tuesday last year. But I'm going back to the hotel. I'm feeling great about things. They won the game.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
It's a big win on the road. They had to fight their guts out. Minnesota played terrific. Minnesota played a terrific game. Penn State showed a lot of guts, came up with the big play when they needed to, closed the game out on their terms. Yet you've got a segment of the population that are allegedly Penn State fans that are mad because they didn't cover.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to care about how you feel about that stuff? No offense,
No
I
way.
don't.
No.
To me, it's all about, did you win the game or not?
Absolutely. I couldn't even tell you what the spread of any game was this year. Not one.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
I
have no idea what any
Like
of them are.
I have no idea. I have a good idea to who's favored and who isn't, but I don't look at that stuff.
I mean, I never even look at that. I mean, I sit down and say, I sit down and say, okay, which Indiana video do I want to watch?
Mm-hmm. How do you beat Indiana? What do you have to do to be successful?
Right. I mean, but I want to watch some videos, see pro, con. What did somebody do? What somebody didn't do? Whatever. I could care less what the number is. I just want to know at the end of the day, do you have more points than the other guy?
Yeah.
Same. I mean, now, while that sounds like a purist attitude, that is actually the bottom line on it.
Absolutely.
That's not a purist attitude. That's real life. What you do with your money is your business. Okay? And you can tell, okay, I'm relatively cheap. No.
Makes two of us. Same way.
Okay. When I spoke at the Duquesne Club, we did get the Peter Millar shirt. So, I mean,
Nice.
so don't go sit there and go, hey, he's wearing Peter Millar.
Uh-huh.
Hey, I didn't buy it. Right? But, I mean, that's to me, sports is still about who won the game, and then we can assess later how well did you play.
Sure.
It's
Absolutely.
It's not about covering, right? You know how long it took for me to read articles? It took me a couple weeks last year. I was reading articles, ATS. I'm like, what the heck does ATS mean? right?
Still don't know what it means.
Against the spread.
Oh.
Right. I kept reading it. I'm like going. So I had to sit there and Google it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
After I Googled Kurt Signetti. I'm just kidding. Right. I'm like, what does ATS mean?
Yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea until now.
And I was like, you got to be kidding me, because I don't live in that world.
I don't either. Yeah. Same.
And it's not as if it hasn't always existed. I mean, I remember in the 80s, I was the third guy, the old junior partner on the radio networks, but it also meant I got to travel, press boxes, things like that. It's like, wow, I may not have the biggest role, but boy, I get to go to great places.
Experience,
but then I would go down into the where the writers were, before a game, and I'd see them like these little sheets, a couple of them sitting there. I'm like going. I was like, oh. So I was curious. I said, hey, what's that about? He said, those are their gambling sheets. Like, now, they're doing it offshore or with a local at the grocery store, or the country, store book in the back. It's like, what was the movie? Was it Casino? And they ran all the casinos out of a Kansas City grocery store.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt. You'd go to dinner after a game. You'd go to the bathroom. There'd be people. Oh, okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
Right. Or they would make their
absolutely.
They'd make their wagers with Las Vegas.
Sure.
Like, okay. Hey. Now, Captain Naive over here, I'm like going, really?
I was the same way.
I said, you got to be kidding me. It's like, right. Now, I mean.
Yeah, now you understand it.
Absolutely. I no longer teach, but now I've got students in class, throwing their money out there.
Yeah.
Right. And then, and
the encouragement that comes from the gambling companies, too. If you bet, that such and such is going to throw 5 yards, you get a $200 bonus. Yeah. That entices people, too.
You see, in the prop bets during the game, I remember when the NBA was openly talking about putting kiosks in arenas. And the NBA is embracing this.
Yeah.
They were the first league. Look how progressive they are. Right now, they're in the biggest trouble.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
They're in the biggest trouble.
And that's where
you have a commissioner that doesn't know how to handle it.
No.
Okay?
No.
Okay. Silver went along. Okay? And was on a great run.
Yeah.
And deservedly so. He was doing a phenomenal job. But when they hit the roadblock with the China controversy.
Absolutely.
He went off. He didn't know what to do. Right? He was so beholden to the cash part of it and the market part of it, right, that there are people that perceive that he was not doing the right thing, and it hurt his image and the league's image.
Absolutely.
Right? Now with this, something like this, again, hurts the league's image, hurts the league's perception, and he hasn't helped it.
No.
Right?
No, he absolutely hasn't.
And so when you look at Major League Baseball, their perception is that they've had a couple of problems. We go back to Ortiz and Clase, the two relievers or the two pitchers for the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah.
And never pitched the rest of the season. Right? Major League Baseball, now they have these things collectively bargained. But for example, was it the Alvarado, the reliever for the Phillies on the PED suspension? They got suspended 80 games when they weren't allowed to use them in the playoffs. They at least have in place with their union how to handle certain things. And the NFL has suspended people. So far, it's like, is it 6 games the least, or is it 3 or 4 in terms of like the gambling part of it?
I know
the people that like the Detroit Lions.
There were 6.
Williams, they got 6 games. The reason they got 6.
Ridley was for the year, right?
Ridley was for the year, and he wasn't even playing.
Yeah.
He wasn't even playing.
Right.
He got a year. They've had the ability to reinstate people.
Sure.
But I think they've handled it right so far.
Yeah, I agree.
And again, the facility part, like, for example, like the Detroit Lions, a couple of them were like, they were on their phones in the parking lot. Well, technically, when you're
still on the facility, you might be using their Wi-Fi.
You're still in the facility Wi-Fi. And they didn't bet on the NFL, but, they bet on college games, things like that, right? And they did it in the parking lot. Well, you're still on the Wi-Fi. That's why you're technically in the facility. Right? But they've handled that right. The NHL hasn't had problems with that.
No. Nope.
Right? They haven't. But the NBA's had problems, and the prop bet thing's a big deal.
And the NBA's also heard it. Yeah, like you said, the reputation has been an issue. They've never recovered from Donaghy. I don't think, at least. I don't think so. I don't think so. And this doesn't help. And I think that's the other part of it. And then you add this to it, it makes it worse. I think in terms of David Stern, he made a lot of comments that were questionable. There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
From a disciplinarian standpoint, though, he was one of the better commissioners.
Yes, he was.
And that's where I think Adam Silver's lacking. I think that's where he's got to pick it up in a lot of ways.
He is. Adam Silver was on a roll and a roll and a roll. But, in the last 6 years, he has not had a strong ability to read the room.
Right. I agree.
Right? In other words, he hasn't read the room right. And I remember he was the one that came out in the New York Times article about the gambling aspect.
Yep.
And it was, look how progressive and look how forward thinking he is. I'm sitting there like going, hey, your job as commissioner is like it's okay to say hey, it's great to have our games online and so forth. But where they've made the mistake is I don't mind if Rivers, Mohegan Sun, right, the Wynn, whomever, the Bellagio, it doesn't matter to me if, as a casino, you advertise. Perfectly fine, because a casino is a big, wide enterprise that also has sportsbook in it. But that's not what it's based on. Okay? The problem I've had is that you've had leagues and teams, hey, we're with DraftKings. And I'm not saying DraftKings are bad. I'm not saying any of these businesses are bad. I'm saying it's bad for a sports entity to be hooked in.
You come across as hypocritical when you do it. Yeah, there's no
MGM
question.
bad. We're with DraftKings. We're with FanDuel. We're with ESPN bet. Like okay.
Yeah, prime example. You're talking about Chauncey Billups, and then 5 minutes later, you're talking about the Sixers and Celtics. Oh, what prop bet are we doing? What's the better bet that we're doing by DraftKings? Like, that's hypocritical. There's no question.
Yeah, no question.
And that's where, and look again.
But I think, but what has happened? Back to my original point. What I think has happened is it's created an angrier fan base out there.
Absolutely has.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Now, there's certain people that fit and don't fit. I thought Hugh Freeze was going to be a fit at Auburn.
I agree.
Really did.
I thought so too.
But I also know, while the Auburn fans are great fans. Okay, so don't take what I'm saying here as a negative about the Auburn fans. I mean, I've been down there, right? I mean, I think they're terrific fans, right? But I also know that the money people wield a lot of control. Not a little, like a lot of control. Okay. Ryan Kelly, I never thought was going to be a fit down at LSU, but in all fairness,
I didn't think he was a fit at Notre Dame.
Right, but in all fairness, I didn't know Nick Saban would be a fit. I didn't know
at Bama.
No, I'm talking about at LSU.
At LSU.
Right. I remember when although I'll say this about Saban, I'm actually not quite right about that. I remember when he left Michigan State to take the LSU job. I remember I did say it was believe it or not, to Joe. We were talking about how Saban took the job. I said it's interesting. I said he's going to have more tools to work with down there than he would have at Michigan State. He says, there's no question about that. So that part I thought was working. But I have to admit, 23 years ago, when he took the job or whatever it was, I wasn't thinking about the Southern culture part of it.
No.
Okay, no. I wasn't.
Right.
But then started thinking more about it as time went. And I remember when Les Miles came in, I go, okay, I don't quite, he really didn't fit in down there, but he won a national title.
Right.
Ed Orgeron.
Same thing. Won a national title, and that forgave some things for a couple years.
But I also thought he fit. The culture.
Well, the culture,
I thought he fit.
I can see that. Yeah.
Brian Kelly, I didn't think fit.
No.
I was like, oh, no, I don't quite see it. But, I mean, he's got more resources. I got it. He was talking about Notre Dame. Notre Dame, to its credit, after Brian Kelly left, did change. Notre Dame did change that.
Yeah, they changed.
All right. Florida's been interesting. They've had two great runs, Steve Spurrier, and of course, with Urban Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think Dan Mullen did a really good job there.
Yeah, just the recruiting aspect, unfortunately, I think was the big thing that hurt him.
You know what? But see, again, it's taken out of context. Okay, we don't have people that use that. They love the headline.
Yeah.
Okay. He was asked after a game about recruiting and basically said, I want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about they lost the game.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the game right now. Well, he doesn't like recruiting.
No, it's who does? Who does? That's not that's not a fun part of the job. I don't care what coach does.
Right. But you think about all the coaches they've had down in Florida. Florida, okay, until Galen Hall got there, they hadn't won an SEC championship ever. And this is the 80s.
Yeah.
It was not considered to be a great job.
No.
Now, Spurrier made it into an awesome job.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Urban made it into an awesome job at that time, but nobody else has been able to go in there and do anything with it.
No, and they've had the big hire, too, plenty of times.
Sure they have. And nobody has been able to, Muschamp,
sure.
Went down there. He was going to be the big hire. He's the coordinator everybody's got to have. Well, evidently not. Right? And you see that and go, okay. UCLA has always been a tough job. That's why Terry Donahue has a statue. They hung in there with him. I mean, and Terry Donahue did a good job at UCLA, but people don't realize they have hardly any double-digit winning seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about like 10 wins or more. I think they have like a couple. That's it. I mean, Penn State's the only program in the country that has 11 win seasons in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 decades in a row. 7 decades in a row, they've had 11 win seasons. Nobody else I don't think anybody else in the country has that has that kind of streak. So you can win here. Mm-hmm. People don't realize of the slumps and the peaks and valleys that happen at some of these programs. Arkansas.
Absolutely.
Arkansas should have, in this new world between the Walton Empire and Tyson Foods, they should have a money flow that should put them in the hunt. Yet they aren't.
All right.
Yet they aren't.
Yeah, and it's not as if they're not throwing the money around. They are.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it's created, back to the money part of it, like these fan bases expect you to win. Winning 10 games isn't enough. You've got to get to the college football playoff. Oh, and by the way, you have to advance too. No question the Penn State season, look, all of us had expectations. I mean, deep expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't panned out. I can't explain why it hasn't panned out. I mean, there's certain things I see, whatever. But I didn't expect to see what I'm seeing.
No.
I didn't.
Same.
And it's easy to throw blame around left and right. Somebody came up to me last night. And they said, you did something I thought you would never do on the Ohio State pregame show. I'm thinking, what the heck did I do? He says, you never once mentioned James Franklin's name. And I said, okay. I said, well, when Penn State played Iowa, in my portion of the Open, I paid tribute to James.
Yeah, sure.
In the Open, I said, I did the same thing at Quarterback Club on Wednesday. I said, but it's been a month. I said, he's not coaching.
He's not there
at all.
No.
I said, it's all about who you have in front of you at the time. He goes, oh, no, I completely understand. I said, that's what it's about. I said, there was no need to mention his name in the pregame. And I said, and believe me, I said, the tributes that I paid to him, both at Quarterback Club and on the air, were glowing. Right? It was a great, it's a terrific 12-season run. Right? Didn't end the way you wanted it to. Didn't end the way any of us wanted to. But there's also a point where, like, it's been a month. This was Terry's second game as the interim head coach. And, what do you do with a backup quarterback? Well, you take care of what's in front of you. I said somebody who's not here any longer, I said, isn't going to win or lose the game for you on Saturday. I just thought it was interesting. Another big show by you will be, let's see, we have interviews tomorrow, Thursday. Hopefully you'll have a wardrobe change. Understand if you take that SF off, it has IU underneath it.
No. Not a chance.
You sure?
Nope. Positive.
You've been going around the building saying Don Fisher's a way better play-by-play guy than the guy we got. I've heard you say that. No?
No. Just because I threw a chair out the door towards the court didn't mean I was honoring IU.
Oh, boy. So, interviews tomorrow. Mark Wogenrich, Neil Coulon, Mark tomorrow, Neil coming up on Thursday. Then you and I are back together to get ready for the weekend before you make your big trip to Erie. Right? There, right now. They love you up there.
They should. I've been there long enough. Or they should feel one way about me one way or another. I've been there enough times.